Welcome to Tiger Tales X, and Merry Christmas, one and all. I present to you the Three Ranger Bros Studios Christmas Special from 2023. The Kamen Riders Save Christmas Town. Takeshi stood there in the land without time and space, with a portal opened in front of him. His driver belt appeared round his waist. It was a very simple, smooth, silver Kamen Rider belt. There was a rectangle on the front, with a sapphire crystal in the shape of a saber-toothed tiger's head. He then held out his hand, and the spirit of the sapphire saber-tooth appeared in front of him, and it roared in a mighty roar. Then the spiritual energy transformed into a card, which Takeshi took, and held it out. "Henshin," he said. Then he slotted the card into the belt, and he morphed into the Kamen Rider Sabertooth. He then walked through the portal and walked out onto the mountaintop as his feet sank into snow. He looked down the mountain, where there, at the very bottom, he could see Santa's village, also known as Christmas Town, and it was covered in ice, completely frozen. Everything and everyone was frozen solid, completely cold and lifeless. Then the masked rider walked up to him. "When you said it was urgent, this is not what I thought you meant," the masked rider said to him. "Thank you for answering my call, Masked Rider. So, how's the belt dealing been going?" Kamen Rider Sabertooth asked. "I have found some worthy candidates, but there are some Kamen Riders popping up that I did not have any hand in making," the Masked Rider replied. "You might be forgetting, but I gave you those belts. If you see any other Kamen Riders fighting with the good fight, you can guarantee now I created them," Kamen Rider Sapphire explained. "That's good enough for me. What's happening down there?" The Masked Rider asked, pointing at the frozen village down below. "Santa's little village. Christmas Town, however you want to call it. As you can see, it's under the weather," the Kamen Rider replied. "Santa, as in Claus?" the Masked Rider asked in a sarcastic tone. "Watch the tone. Santa Claus, yes, is an ally to the Rangers and Riders across the multiverse. And right now, he's frozen. His town is frozen in a perfect icicle. He's being underhanded," the Kamen Rider retorted back. "So how can I help? Beat the thing who did this?" the Masked Rider asked. No. This is a situation for the riders that you have formed, and a test for those in the multiverse. As Universe 19 dominates the playing field right now for riders, this is the opportunity. You have an opportunity to bring them all together, the Kamen Rider Sabertooth told him. "Okay, what do you want me to do?" the Masked Rider asked. "Fight whatever is down there. Lose on purpose. Then call in your riders. And make sure they win," the Kamen Rider ordered. Then he turned around and walked away, leaving the Masked Rider to his job.
Are you looking for a new holiday destination? Then look no further than Ranger Travels. Here at Ranger Travels, we will take you to the most exotic places on one continent. Take Angel Grove, for example. Want to ski? Then take a trip to our frozen wasteland. Fancy a desert walk? Then visit our Sahara area. And are you a budding volcanologist? Then check out our active volcano. It erupts quite regularly. Book your new adventure with Ranger Travels. Ranger Travels is not responsible for destruction of property while on your holiday. If there is a monster attack, Rangers will respond. T's and C's apply.
Jacob stood there, practicing his magic using his rider rings. He held his hand out with his water ring over his belt and activated it. He then jumped up into the air and waved his hand, when suddenly something made of pure white light swallowed him whole, and he was transported into a pile of snow. He landed in the snow, stood up and dusted himself off, and shuddered as the breeze was harsh and cold. He scanned his surroundings to see a beautiful Christmas-themed town. Elves and candy cane lampposts, huge wishing wells, Christmas lights hung off all the buildings and houses. A few reindeer could be seen on the street, and every single thing was completely frozen solid. Everything was covered in ice. The snow had built up. Jacob stood there rather confused. Hello? Anyone around? Jacob called out. Jacob further explored the town. He held on to the walls as he started to slip on the big slates of ice. He then found someone laid in the snow. They seemed unconscious and barely breathing. Jacob ran over and dropped to his knees and rolled the man over to see Dex laying there, badly beaten. Dex, man, what the hell happened here? Jacob asked. Jack Frost, Dex mumbled as he came to a sat-up position, slowly grunting in pain. Jack Frost? You mean the guy who makes it snow in the fairy tales? Jacob asked. You're Kamen Rider Wizard, and you're questioning Jack Frost? And you're the one who fought Krampus last year. Actually, I think Jack Frost is infected with the same evil, Dex said, looking up at Jacob. Okay, fair enough. Thought I was going delusional, Jacob muttered to himself. You have to stop him, Jacob. But you shouldn't do it alone, Dex muttered. What do you suggest? Jacob asked as he pulled Dex to his feet. You know other Kamen Riders, don't you? From this universe? Dex suggested. Yeah, okay. I'll see what I can do. Jacob nodded. Dex waddled over to a frozen bench and sat on it and clenched onto his ribcage. Are you going to be okay here? Jacob asked. Yes, go. Santa's house is that way. You might want to try there first, Dex said, pointing to the big house further into the icy town. Jacob nodded and then started walking. As he got closer to the centre of the village, he placed his rider ring on. His rider belt appeared in front of him. He clicked the side of it, rotating the hand panel on the front of the belt. He placed his ring in front of him, of the belt, and it shimmered. Then he held his hand out and 5 shimmering lights appeared in front of him. The light diminished and revealed 5 people stood before him, each one coming from a different place from across the globe, each one with a unique set of skills. There was Tony, also known as Kamen Rider Drive, Tai, also known as Kamen Rider Ghost, Shinzo, the half-human, half-fan guy, also known as Kamen Rider Kiva. There's also Detective Stephanie, Jacob's partner, who also known as Kamen Rider Beast. There was also Tony's partner in crime, a woman called Skylar. Hello everyone, and welcome to the North Pole. This is Christmas Town, or it should be. Something has happened to Jack Frost, and it's up to us Kamen Riders to find out what happened, and deal with it quickly. Hopefully revert Jack Frost back to normal, Jacob told everyone. Dude, I was driving in my car, Tony muttered. Yo, cool being here and all, but I'm just the new guy, Tony groaned. Your skill set is still needed, Ty. Jacob nodded at him. Sorry, but I ain't no Kamen Rider, Skylar barked. Too many boys, or the testosterone won't get anything done, Stephanie chuckled. Sure, but I'll just get in the way, won't I? Skylar asked. I don't mean to summon you. I called for all Kamen Riders around Universe 19, so I'm confused myself, Jacob noted. We can protect her. She can just stay close to me, like per usual, Tony sneered. Oh, come on, we better get going. Santa's house is that way. It's the first place we should check, Jacob said, pointing behind him to the big frozen house. They all started making their way to Santa's house. Should have worn something warmer, Skylar shivered. They approached the big wooden door. It was very festive, with mistletoe on the door, twinkling lights around the windows, and the entire house was frozen. How are we going to get inside? Ty asked. Everyone move. Being half-hand guy kind of comes in handy, Shinzo ordered. Everyone cleared out of his way. Shinzo punched the frozen door as hard as he could, and the ice shattered and rained on the floor. The windows shook and the house vibrated hard as Shinzo then opened the front door and gestured everyone to walk through. Everyone entered Santa Claus's house and took in the dark, chilling room. The fire in the fireplace was also frozen solid, slowly dripping, joining the rest of the room. What once was a warm, delightful house was now just a cold echo. Stephanie started walking around the room with a keen eye and a determined focus. She scanned the entire room. She knelt down in the middle of the room and then she let out a long sigh. There was a tussle here. It was quick, only a few scraps, not deep enough to mark anything. Santa was taken, but didn't put up too much of a fight, Stephanie told the others. It reeks of something evil, though, Shinzo grunted. No one died yet, Tai sighed. Everyone looked at him rather confused. Hello, corporeal ghost here. I can see other ghosts, sorta, kinda, I think, Tai explained, confused. Good to know. We need to find Jack, because he took Claus, Tony stated, also rather confused. Toy-making factory, Stephanie told him. Everyone looked at her with shock as she stood there holding a set of keys. One of the keys were missing, and the ring that bound it to the set of keys had been broken. Only one key gone, and it's for the toy factory, Stephanie said. Think I saw the sign pointing it towards that way, Shinzo stated. Sam, come on, let's go. And for the love of Rudolph, everyone watch the goddamn ice, Jacob barked. Then he led everyone outside and everyone moved in a slight jogging formation, and Jacob led everyone to the toy factory.
Do you ever wonder what would happen if
you give a dad a podcast?
Hello, all my beautiful people.
Mom, I'm not going to college like we planned. I'm going to take a couple years off. I just gave all my college money to this professional wrestling promoter, and I'm going to be a big superstar one day.
I'm a human and I'm a chiropractor.
I wasn't about to call you dad, so.
I'm what you call a nerd fan.
And the Monos Chronicles, the new web series that I'm working on.
We inadvertently made that kid cry. We didn't mean to.
I mean,
People get really mad at those videos for some reason. Like it triggers certain people. Yeah.
First tryout, made the team, made starting position. I was right guard for a little while.
Hey Jared, that swerve I was going to tell you about, here it is.
It's going to be from a nerdy dad's point of view.
You're starstruck. It's not a big deal, man.
I am being starstruck.
I made a really good career out of being able to bump, sell, and I had a punch me face.
That's why they call it If You Give a Dad a Podcast.
Exactly. Available everywhere podcasts are found.
They found the toy factory. It was large, clean and shiny, and very pretty, and the complete opposite to those of normal factories found across the world. The group all kept themselves low. They crept up to the side of the building and peeked through one of the large windows. There they found Santa Claus. His hands were tied to a hook, and he was dangling over a large cauldron which had ice blue bubbling liquid in it. "What the hell are they doing?" Skylar asked. "Looks like Jack Frost is doing a spell of some kind," Jacob stated. "Never seen a spell like that, though," Stephanie said. "Why Santa Claus?" Ty asked. "He's a magical being. His powers could be worthy if it was evil," Shinzo said. "Okay, so what's the plan here?" Tony asked. "We get in, we find Jack, and Skylar, looks like we found a use for you," Jacob said. They all started creeping away from the wall. "What do I do?" Skylar asked. "Find the chain that lowers Santa and get him off of that thing," Jacob said. "Oh, hell no," Tony barked at him. "Hey, I can handle myself. Not Kamen Rider handle, sure, but I can handle myself," Skylar barked. "My point is, you're normal here. We're in the world of magic. You know, it's Christmas Town. This is a different kettle of fish." Tony hushed her. "Dude, chill. There's like 5 riders here. We can watch her, I'm sure," Ty butted in. "Okay, fine," Tony huffed. "I promise you will not come to harm," Shinzo stated. Then everyone nodded and they all crept into the building. They walked past conveyor belts with toys laid across them. They also crept past some of the frozen shelves and found a frozen elf stood there in the moment of finishing making the toy. They stopped at the sight of Santa as he came into view. Well. Seemed like the Masked Rider sent backup," a chilling voice cackled. They all looked up and saw the icy cold being as it flew through the air. It came zooming around the room. "Skylar, go now," Jacob nudged her. She ran off and kept low, running towards Santa. The others all ran into the middle of the room and watched as Jack Frost crash landed on the floor, his fist slamming the ground, leaving a burst of ice under the impact. The monster was tall and menacing looking. He kept his humanoid physique, but his skin was icy blue. His entire body was covered in icicles, which reflected the sunlight that burst through the massive windows. He wore thin armor and was covered in a snowflake pattern. "Hello, riders," Jack Frost said. "Hey there, Jack. We need you to revert the town back to the lovely, jolly, and very creative town, actually. But we're going to have to revert you back first," Jacob said, trying to reason with the monster standing before them. "Oh, please. I'm as jolly as the fat man himself," Jack Frost barked. "Oh, come on, man. We all know this isn't you. What's with the cauldron?" Tony barked. "I plan on turning old Saint Nick into one of us," Jack Frost laughed. But think about the children, Stephanie growled. Children? You mean those greedy, snotty, stuck-up brats? Jack Frost sneered. You cannot be serious, Ty yelled. I'm very serious, Jack Frost said chillingly. Okay, fine. We'll stop you, Shinzo called out. I'd like to see you try. Please, take your 10 minutes of our time so all of you can suit up, Jack Frost hissed. Guess that's our cue, Jacob muttered. We're right behind you, Stephanie said to him. All of us are, Shinzo replied. Then Komori flew out of his side bag. Oh, come on, man, it's cold and I was sleeping, Komori moaned.
Jacob smirks and lays his left hand on the belt. Driver on! The belt says, the black belt transforms into a silver, futuristic-looking belt. It's showtime! Jacob holds up his right hand with the red stone ring on it. He flicks the top of the ring and a mask folds down over the stone. He places it on the belt and the hand slightly becomes askew. Tony turns the red button on the driver belt and an engine sound roars out of it. Start your engines, Mr. Driver says. Tony places the red car into the gauntlet and pushes up on it.
Shinzo grabbed Komori with his right hand. Bite! Komori yelled out, and then Komori was brought to Shinzo's left hand and Komori sunk his teeth into Shinzo's skin. Black veins rippled up his arm and across his face. Suddenly magic chains formed around his waist and formed into a red and gold henshin belt. The belt was all red and had a metal rod above the waistline. Shinzo held out Komori.
Let's go! Go, 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 Stone! Go, 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 go! Set! Open! L-I-O-N! Lion!
Henshin! Henshin!
Henshin!
Henshin! Henshin! Jacob had turned into Kamen Rider Wizard. Stephanie had turned into Kamen Rider Beast. Tony had turned into Kamen Rider Drive. Tai had turned into Kamen Rider Ghost. And Shinzo had turned into Kamen Rider Kiva. The group of riders charged at Jack Frost. Drive punched the monster several times, then hugged it with a tight grip. His wheel on his chest started rotating, which Jack Frost got struck by. Sparks rippled off the friction, then Drive lifted Jack Frost over his head and slammed him on the ground. As Jack Frost stood, Beast ran up with her fist encased in a golden lion energy head. She rammed the lion head into Jack Frost, and then she rolled to one side as Ghost came in and struck the monster with a double punch. He then kicked the monster in the chest, making it slide backwards. Kiva raised his leg, the chains broke off of his one leg, revealing the wings on his shin. He then flew at Jack Frost, landed in front of him, his body now crouched low, as then he kicked straight up, launching Jack into the air. Wizard then came up with his arms swinging around in big circular motions. Suddenly, with a big spark, a dragon made of fire formed and spun around Wizard. He threw his hands out and the dragon flew at Jack Frost, which collided with the monster and pushed through the air. It smashed through one of the windows and went flying out in the open, sending Jack Frost outside. All of the Kamen Riders grouped up as Skylar and Santa Claus walked up to them. Nice going, Skylar cheered. Halt your applause. Jack Frost is still in this monstrous state, Wizard told them. Thank you, guys, for the save. I better find my reindeer. They ran all into the forest. I kinda need them, Santa Claus told them. Hopefully, by the time you return, we'll have your village not frozen. Mr. Claus, Ghost said awkwardly with thumbs up. Everyone nodded and ran out the factory. Skylar followed the riders and then hid behind a frozen well. The riders ran up to the monstrous Jack Frost. The snow underneath him was slowly melting and had been scorched by the wizard's flame dragon strike. Ready for round 2? Kiva barked. I'm ready to turn you into ice lollies, Jack Frost chuckled. Then he held his hands closer together and summoned several wisps of blizzard energy. They all flew around the place and flew directly at the riders. They all jumped back, but Ghost was managed to get hit by one of the wisps and was frozen into a solid block. The next one caught was Beast, who also was frozen, now unable to move. Kiva and Drive was hit next, freezing in mid-leap. Wizard tried to defend himself with veils of fire, but the wisps phased through it all and struck Wizard. He froze, joining his fellow riders. The 5 riders all stood there in veils of ice, encased solid in their frozen conundrum. Jack Frost stood there, cackling. He walked slowly through his prizes. He sneered. Skylar saw everyone in danger. They were all frozen onto the battlefield. So Skylar ran towards them as everything became frozen. Not in the frozen ice type of way, but the time frozen type of way. Jack Frost was motionless. He had stopped moving, stopped blinking, stopped breathing. Skylar stopped and looked around. She walked around the frozen Kamen riders and now the motionless Jack Frost. She turned around to see Dex stood there. "You're the guy who keeps out giving people rider belts, right?" Skylar muttered. "I am, yes," Dex smiled. "Why are you talking to me?" Skylar asked. "You want to help your friend, right? Or was you running into the fight to throw a snowball at our problem?" Dex replied. "No, I want to help," Skylar said, taking a step forward. "Good. I was hoping you'd say that. I have 2 gifts for you. One is this," Dex stated, passing her a rider belt. "Whoa, hang on now." I don't know," Skylar started mumbling. "Skylar, please. I've been watching you, and now it is time for you to join Tony in his quest. But first, how about your fellow riders?" Dex told her. Skylar looked at the belt and grinned. "Wait, you said there was 2 gifts?" Skylar questioned. "When it's time, just click your fingers," Dex explained. He winked, then he walked away, his body phasing out of existence, disappearing. Skylar took a step forward, then she turned around and faced Jack Frost. Time unfroze and the monster started walking around again. "And we have the last sweetheart," Jack Frost sneered as he clocked Skylar stood there. "Yeah, well, we'll see," Skylar started, then she clicked the belt to her waist.
Signal bike!
Let's henshin.
Rider! Maha!
I am always at max speed.
Kamen Rider Mac stood there before Jack Frost. "Another one? Ha ha! One more won't stop me," Jack Frost cackled. "Oh, you know nothing," Mac chuckled to herself. Then she held up her hand and she clicked her fingers. Suddenly, 2 portals opened and 2 more Kamen Riders jumped out. "Oh, there are 3 now," Jack Frost gasped. "I give you Kamen Rider Gaim from Universe 113 and Kamen Rider Double from Universe 20, Mac stated. "Thanks for the invitation," Gaim said, gripping his sword. "Yeah, let's melt this ice pop," Double called out. Then all 3 riders ran at Jack Frost. Gaim slashed the monster with his sword. Double jumped up and stamped his feet against the monster's chest several times. Then Mac jumped up and kneed the monster in the face. She then spun around and kicked the monster, sending it stumble back. Then she jumped back and all 3 riders hit their belts. Then Double jumped up, flew at Jack Frost, kicking the monster, his foot entangled with black and green energy. Then Gaim flew at the monster with a kick, his foot wrapped up in orange energy. Then Mac jumped into the air, spun around in a veil of multicolour aura that wrapped around her. Then she dove into her kick. As she kicked Jack Frost, the monster stumbled back and exploded. The flame diminished. The unconscious Jack Frost laid there on the ground. The ice suddenly disappeared, all melted everywhere. Christmas Town once again burst to life. Elves stood there in shock. All the riders also broke out of their icy captivity. They all grouped up around her. "Skylar, you're a rider?" Drive blurted. "Yeah, I hope you don't mind," Mac replied. "Oh, please, I'll happily have some backup," Drive cheered. Who are these guys?" Gaim and Double. They come from Universe 113 and 20, Mac explained. Hey, Gaim nodded. Nice to meet you, Double saluted. We have Power Ranger allies from those universes, so it makes sense we have Kamen Rider ones, Wizard told everyone. Suddenly, there was a big, high-pitched wailing noise. A powerful screech came from the sky. They looked up, and they saw a black, ghostly-like being. Is that the thing that turned Jack Frost into whatever he was? Ghost asked. We have to take care of it, Beast barked. Then everyone jumped into the air. All 8 riders formed a line. A golden energy circled around all of them. They all held out their palms, and an icy blue orb formed in their hand. Snowball fight! Mac yelled. Then each rider threw their energy ball. Each one hit the dark spirit. Mac was the last one. She threw the ball. It doubled in size, then tripled in size. Then it became huge. As it hit the spirit exploded. The dark fragments of darkness all diminished. All the riders landed as the elves cheered. Santa Claus appeared with all his reindeer being pulled with him. All the riders approached Santa. Thank you, riders. So much, Santa cheered. No problem, Nick, Drive chuckled. Then all of the riders demorphed. So, what's going to happen with Jack? Ty asked Santa Claus. I'm sure my wife can bring him to full health, Santa said suddenly. Well, that's good to know, Shinzo nodded. Well, I've never had riders in my town before. A few Power Rangers, and that weird skeleton thing from Halloween Town, Santa Claus chuckled. Suddenly, 2 portals opened, and the still morphed Kamen Rider Gaim and Kamen Rider Double said their goodbyes and walked through their respective portals. They returned to Universe 113 and Universe 20. Thank you, guys. Honestly, and Skylar, welcome to the club, Jacob grinned. Thanks, Skylar grinned. Then Jacob waved his hands, and several flashes of light shimmered through the entire team as each one was sent back to their hometown, leaving Santa Claus to start up his journey of giving presents to everybody. Dex walked up to Kamen Rider Sabretooth. It's done, Dex told him. Good. Well done. I managed to get some fascinating data, Kamen Rider Sabretooth replied. Now what? Dex asked him as Kamen Rider Sabretooth started walking away. He stopped in his tracks and leaned his head to one side. Keep going. Universe 19 is in need of defending. That is your job to make its defenders. But leave Ghost and Kiva. They are mine. Till we speak again, Dex, Kamen Rider Sabretooth said. Then he walked through a portal, leaving Dex alone in the mountaintop. Kamen Rider Sabretooth entered the land without time and space. Well, you've been busy, William Cranston chuckled. Kamen Rider Sabretooth demorphed, and Takeshi looked at him with a raised eyebrow. Yes, I've been testing my champions finally. You happy now? Takeshi barked. Yeah, you're finally doing something. And you've got 2 universes outside of Universe 19 finally. Well done, William sneered. Don't be so narcissistic, William. I haven't broken any rules yet, Takeshi growled. Universe 91, William coughed. Shut up, Takeshi barked. William chuckled, then walked away and headed to his chessboard, leaving Takeshi to make the notes on the test that just occurred. Thank you very much for listening. And from the 3 Ranger Bros, Mark the Red Cornish Ranger, Cosmic Dude 637, and myself, Ty Tiger, we wish you all a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.